Hello and welcome to another episode of the Paul Nichols podcast show. Today is episode number 18 and we're going to be discussing traffic. And this is one traffic myth which is holding you back from online success. So let's dive in. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Wherever it is you're watching or listening from, could be on YouTube, could be one of our other video platforms, that could be on our podcast platform. So thanks for tuning in. So traffic, the lifeblood of any internet business. But there's one thing, there's one myth that is going to be holding you back from online success. And this happened to me many years ago. So firstly, there are two types of traffic that you can generate on the internet. There isn't any other type of traffic generation that you can generate apart from free or paid. And free traffic normally involves your time. Paid traffic normally involves you paying for traffic. So they both have pros and cons, and they both play a part in any internet business. However, there are things that you need to be aware of when it comes to traffic, because back in 2012 to about 2016, so for about 4 or 5 years, I spent a long time trying to learn paid traffic. And in that 4 to 5 years, I spent a lot of money. I spent thousands. So the first thing I want you to understand is that paid traffic, and this is from my own experience, paid traffic is not the way to go necessarily. Okay. Now this does depend on the situation you're in your business. And I'm going to explain that during today's episode, because I need to give you a lot more context behind the reason why I'm saying paid traffic is not necessarily the way to go. The first thing I will say is it will largely depend on what type of business you have and also how experienced you are. So let's discuss this in a little bit more detail, and it will make perfect sense by the end of this episode. So you've got free traffic and you've got paid traffic, yeah? When you first come to the internet and you start learning all of this internet stuff, and you start learning about how to create websites and blogs and videos, and you're told to create content and get all this traffic, and then some people say to you, no, just go and pay for traffic, it's much easier, it saves a lot of your time. When you first come to the internet, the reason why free traffic is so appealing is because you think that because you don't have to spend any money, that is the best way to go. So a lot of the time, that is one of the huge benefits, is that it's completely free. But it does take time to build up free traffic into your websites and your blogs. It isn't something that you can just switch on. Yeah. So this is why a lot of people come to the internet, or when they do come to the internet, they think free traffic is the best thing to do. So they start to try different methods, and this is what I did. This is probably what you've done. You try different free traffic methods. You realize that they're either very difficult, or even if they do work, they take a lot of time. So you go through this cycle of trying all these different free traffic methods, and I did the exact same thing many years ago. So you try all of these different traffic methods, and then you come to a point after so many years and think to yourself, I'm just fed up with spending all of this time on free traffic, but I don't seem to get anywhere. So then all of a sudden you come across some training. You may buy a course, you might go through some training, even some paid coaching, some paid traffic coaching. And I actually did the same. I actually paid for some traffic coaching many years ago, and I learned how to buy traffic. Yeah. So you start to learn about paid traffic because you think that paid traffic is the way to go, because you've tried free traffic, it takes too much time, takes too much energy, and is too time consuming, so you think paid traffic is the way to go. And then you dive into paid traffic. And then you find that paid traffic is also very, very difficult. Just as I did. Very, very difficult. And not only that, and not only is paid traffic difficult to actually learn, but it's costing you a ton of money while you're making mistakes. At least with free traffic, you're not paying with your money when you make mistakes. So you can afford to kind of make mistakes for many, many months with free traffic, and at least you've not actually spent money on those mistakes. Paid traffic, and it can cost you a lot of money. This is something that I learned the hard way with. I bought a traffic course. Well, in fact, it was an affiliate marketing course many, many, many years ago. And they taught me how to, or they showed me how to use paid traffic to drive traffic into my pages. So I went out and I bought some traffic from the places that they said, but I forgot to turn my traffic off, and it ended up eating through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of traffic. It was about $800 in 24 hours, and I didn't even make a sale. So yes, I have learned the hard way, and I've seen it from both perspectives, free traffic and paid traffic. So what do I suggest? Well, the fact that I've already called this episode the one traffic myth which is holding you back from online success. The one myth is paid traffic is not the way to go, which I did mention earlier. So what do I suggest that you do? Because paid traffic is a way of you building your business and making progress and generating customers and subscribers and all of that, but you need to be in the right situation. So let me explain. As I just explained to you, when you first come to the internet, you start to use free traffic, and then you end up going into paid traffic at some point because you think free traffic is just taking too much time, and you think, no, I've had enough of this, I'm going to go into paid traffic. And then you realize that paid traffic isn't that much easier, and it's also costing you money. Okay, so what you have to understand is that paid traffic is okay to use if you have some type of a business to send the traffic into. And this is where a lot of beginners and a lot of newbies and a lot of people that are new to the internet really struggle. This is why most people will not succeed with paid traffic. Someone once said to me, this was many years ago, in fact, it was someone that I bought some coaching from. He said to me, he said, Paul, do you think your problem is getting enough traffic in your business? And I said, yeah. I said, I just don't get enough traffic. This was many, many years ago. And he said to me, okay, Paul, if I suddenly bought you some traffic, if I just sent you 1,000 visitors, where would you send the traffic? And that was a great question because I didn't have an answer to him. That made me realize that traffic wasn't my problem because I didn't have anywhere to actually send the traffic. You may think that you've got somewhere to send the traffic. You know, you might think, well, Paul, yeah, if someone was to suddenly send me 1,000 people to my, to me, I could just get an affiliate link, or I could just go and sign up somewhere and send that traffic. No, that's not the answer. You need to have a business in place before you start buying traffic. So paid traffic, yes, it works. However, it's not something that you're going to be needing to do or use anytime soon. If you don't already have a product online, if you don't have an email list, if you don't have any type of product that you sell, sales funnel, then it's no good you buying traffic. And this is the myth. This is the secret when it comes to paid traffic. A lot of people will tell you, well, just go out and buy some traffic, do this, do that, generate 100 leads per day. It's not that easy. Even if you could generate 100 leads per day, you then still need to know how to create an opt-in page, how to create a sales page. You then need a domain name, You need a website. You need an autoresponder. You need a product. You need to create the product. You need a sales funnel so it all fits in together, so that when people come through and opt into your email list, you can then make money. So you've got all of these different things that you need in place before you can go and buy traffic. So the next time you're sat there and you're thinking to yourself, because this was me many, many years ago, I sat there and I used to think to myself, I'm just not getting anywhere because I don't have enough traffic. But traffic wasn't my problem. The problem was I didn't have a funnel or any type of business to monetize that traffic. So let's analyze this in a little bit more detail. Let's open up a new page. So if you're currently bouncing around from method to method, or you just don't have any clear direction, and I totally get it if you are, because I've been there, I've done that many, many years ago, and this is the trap that a lot of people fall into. You don't know what to do, you get told to do different things all the time, and I totally get it. So don't worry, you're not alone. But if you're in that situation and you still think traffic is your problem, it really isn't. Because if someone suddenly sent you 1,000 visitors, yeah, where are you going to send those 1,000 people? Even if you've got some type of a blog, or you may have some type of a website, yeah, does that website actually convert visitors into sales? Because that's all well and good you just having a blog, or maybe you've got a YouTube channel, maybe you've got a couple of videos out there. And even if you sent those 1,000 people to a video or to a website or a blog, you need to make sure that wherever you send people to, you send them into a sales machine. And let me explain. So I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So until you have something like this in place, traffic is not your problem. So opt-in page. So this is your opt-in page, yeah. And let's just put a quick page here, sales page. And then underneath that is going to be your email list. Yeah. So every time someone enters your email list, every time someone enters your opt-in page, they will also be added into your autoresponder, yeah, into your email list. So you're building a really good online asset, which is your email list. So now, if someone wanted to send you 1,000 people, you now have a proven process. It doesn't have to be the best sales funnel in the world. It doesn't have to be the most highest converting sales funnel anyone's ever seen on the face of the internet. It just has to have a process where you send people through, where you're able to make sales. You can always tweak your sales pages and different pages in your sales funnel as you progress. But you need to make sure that you have at least a very basic sales funnel in place. And this is what you could call a mini business. An opt-in page, a sales page, and an email list. And the sales page, you could sell something for $47. Yeah? $47. In UK money, that's like £40. Yeah? So I'm in the UK, so $47 is about £40 at the moment, roughly. And all of a sudden, you're now able to take full advantage of that 1,000 visitors. So once you have a system like this, and you're sending people through a process like this, and this is not like some big secret. Thousands, well, I would say millions of people do this on the internet every single day. But the problem is, when you first start out, or before you've got a certain amount of experience, you don't really understand this process and you don't understand how the internet truly works. This is why I say the one myth is you don't need paid traffic. Paid traffic is not the problem, or sorry, traffic is not the problem. And you shouldn't be using paid traffic either. Until you have a process like this, don't even think about using paid traffic. In fact, the best thing to do is once you have a process like this in place on the internet, so you're able to sell your product, whatever market, whatever niche it is that you're in, I would use free traffic for quite a while until you're at least making some money and you're making sales in your business and you're generating revenue. Then when you have proven your sales funnel works and the whole process works, then you could start to use paid traffic. But the problem is you're told to use paid traffic far too early. And I fell into this trap as well many, many years ago. As I said, I told you my story earlier in the episode that I burned through hundreds and hundreds of dollars in a 24-hour period. And that's just one horror story that I've got of many. I've used paid traffic countless times in the past. Now, it's different now because I know what I'm doing with paid traffic and I have like a sales funnel that I send people through. So it's completely different now. But when I was starting out many, many years ago, I was clueless and I was like a lot of people. I just went and bought some traffic because I thought traffic was the problem. And even when I did have a couple of things in place, it still wasn't enough. You need some type of a system like this. You need an opt-in page, you need something to sell, you need an autoresponder, and you need to make sure that this process is actually proven to work. So the best way to do that is to just use some free traffic for a number of months, even maybe years. And don't let the fact that free traffic takes time to build put you off. Free traffic is, of course, completely free. So that's one of the massive benefits you've got of free traffic. And if you use free traffic in the right type of way, you seriously can generate a lot of traffic. And this is completely free because you've got social media, you've got all these different video platforms that you can use. You've got podcasts, you've got blogs, you've got different websites that you can use and leverage. So I hope today's episode has really helped to make it a lot more clear now moving forward. So you now know that traffic is not necessarily your problem. The chances are the problem you have is you don't have a system to send the traffic into. The way I like to describe this type of sales process is like a sales machine that works like a well-oiled machine. So what happens is you send traffic in the top part like this, you send traffic like this every single day, and then it spits out subscribers. Yeah. And then those subscribers will go to your sales page. You don't have to send them direct to a sales page, even if you don't have anything to sell. You could use some type of an affiliate offer or an affiliate product. There's lots of stuff out there that you could sell, but you have to have a proven process to send people through. So once you start to send people through this process, it spits out subscribers, they get added to your autoresponder, and then the whole machine just continues to work like that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this is the great thing about an internet business, is this works even when you're asleep. While you're in bed, this will spit out subscribers and sales. So I often wake up in the morning and I've made multiple sales for my business because people have come through. Because remember, we're all in different time zones. While I'm in bed, other people are surfing the web. And this is the great thing about an internet business. This was one of the main reasons why I first started an internet business back in 2008. What I've showed you today is how you can start to generate profits, generate revenue, and start seeing some good progress by following a proven process and not get too hung up on the fact that you need more traffic, because you actually don't. Traffic is the last thing that you should be focused on. Get your system in place first. Get some type of a mini sales machine in place first that is proven to work. Use free traffic, and then you can transition from free traffic to paid traffic further down the road. But don't use paid traffic too quickly. Honestly, you don't need to. Focus on free traffic, and you will learn a lot as well from free traffic, because you're going to need to create content, and you can upload videos and write articles, and so there's all different things that you can do to create. We won't get into that in today's video, in today's episode, but there are lots and lots of different ways to generate free traffic, and there's lots of different ways that you can build this system as well very, very easily. And one of the ways that you can do that is if you go through my 7-day bootcamp. So I'm actually giving away a 7-day free bootcamp, and this will help you to create this type of a system and also start to generate sales in your own business in the next 30 days. Just go to coffeeshopincome.com/bootcamp, and you can start to go through a completely free 7-day training bootcamp, and that's from me. So they are all video tutorials. You won't get these on YouTube, these or anywhere else on the internet. These are strictly in a members only area, so you can only get these if you grab the free training on the next page. So just go to coffeeshopincome.com/bootcamp. If you are watching today's episode on a video platform, then there will be a link below. If you're listening to this on one of our podcast platforms, then there might still be a link below. Otherwise, just go to coffeeshopincome.com/bootcamp. So I hope today's episode has helped to give you a lot more clarity now moving forwards. So traffic really isn't the problem. The problem is you don't have anywhere to send it. So this is what you need to do. Create this type of a mini sales machine, and then traffic becomes so much easier, because all you then do is then direct all of the traffic into the opt-in page. And life does become so much easier. I absolutely guarantee you that. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening today. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next episode. Take care.